Good morning. It's Carrie May, Chief Economist with the Department of Workforce Services, coming to you live on Facebook to give you the latest economic update. We now have our jobs numbers for March, and once again, things look great for the state of Utah. In terms of job growth, we have experienced 3.2% growth compared to March of 2016. We've added 45,700 new jobs to the economy. We are now at 1.45 million jobs here in the state of Utah. And then in terms of unemployment, our unemployment rate remained unchanged from last month at a very low level of 3.1%. It indicates to us that we have roughly 47,000, a bit more than 47,000 individuals who are looking for work here in the state of Utah. Those people looking for work will likely have a good chance of finding work because employers are adding jobs here in our economy. It's a story we've been telling for a long time, and one thing that was pointed out to me earlier today is that our numbers are basically staying the same. And what does that mean? Does that mean that the economy isn't really moving, that we're just kind of stuck at this? Well, no, not at all. It actually, there's a lot of movement happening. There's a lot of economic activity. We call it, in economic terms, we call it churn. There are people getting jobs, leaving jobs, returning to the workforce, leaving the workforce. There's a lot of movement going. It just happens to be that when we take a snapshot picture of that movement each month, what we're finding is that sort of settling point, that equilibrium point has been roughly the same every month. And lucky for our state, it's a great place for us to be. We're growing at 3.2% in jobs, as I said earlier, which is just a hair above our long-term average. Now, we're not, reaching like a 4% growth level like we saw a little bit in early 2016. We're not there, but it's actually probably a good thing. That means we're not overheating. We're growing at a rate that the economy can handle, that businesses are able to, in a with good momentum, add positions in their businesses and then fill those positions with job seekers. So things are really in a good place for the state of Utah. And when you look outside of the labor market indicators, other economic indicators align with what we are seeing here in the job market, in that things are strong and moving ahead for the state of Utah. So we're excited to see that things continue to be sort of boring and the same. It's a good thing for us. It's a good story that we can tell people. One thing that we also thought about that was interesting to think about is we're approaching graduation, high school graduation, college graduation, and the advice that we would give those graduates is now is the time to start thinking about your job search. And you are going to enter the workforce at a great moment in time, and that is because there are so many opportunities out there. And our data is very helpful for you to educate yourself and find, just get yourself on that first step of your career path on solid footing. Educating yourself about what this economy looks like, where the opportunities are, where you can market yourself, where you're going to get that best job. Even high schoolers that are going to possibly get a summer job, now's the time to start thinking about that. Now's the time to start planning, and those summer jobs are an excellent way to get experience and make contacts that you can use in the future to grow your career. So we would highly recommend that a young person be looking now for work if that's part of their future plans. Where should you be looking for work? Well, all but two of our industries have added jobs compared to last year. The only two that haven't added jobs are that mining, oil, and gas industry that we've been talking about for quite a while. It shed 900 positions, so we're 900 fewer positions than we were a year ago in that industry. Also, the information industry shed a few positions. Probably still a healthy, robust industry, just adjusting a little bit and comparing to last year, not doing quite as well. Still, we know that there's a lot of business activity related to the information industry. The heavy hitters, adding the most jobs, was trade, transportation, and utilities with 8,700 jobs. Then professional and business services added 8,200 jobs, and then third in line was education and health services at 6,800 jobs. We're not mentioning the other industries, but they too are adding jobs. So you've got like finance and insurance adding jobs. You have construction adding jobs, manufacturing. They're also adding jobs as well. It's just the two that aren't are information and mining, oil, and gas. As far as the rate of growth, which industries are growing fastest, leisure and hospitality comes out fastest growing at 4.7%. Looks like that industry is heating up in preparation for those summer activities. Construction grew at 4.7%, and then professional and business services grew at 4.2%. Excuse me. These industries hold a wide range of occupations, so there's a distinction to be made there. An industry describes the business and the business activity. An occupation is a skill set for a worker. So you can have an occupation that is in an industry you may not expect it to be in. So construction industry, there are accountants that work for construction firms. So just because you may not be a quote-unquote construction worker, the way you traditionally think of that, doesn't mean there may not be a job opportunity for you. They have administrative support, they have professional support, so there are opportunities in those industries. So just because you're not thinking you're aligned with, say, the construction industry, as my example, doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to have a job opportunity. And like I said before, other industries are growing as well. We just didn't highlight them in this press release. But you can get the full amount of data on our website, jobs.utah.gov. So that's an excellent place for you to go to research these occupations and these industries and find out which employers are adding jobs. It's a nice feature of our economic analysis unit being coupled with the workforce services, because we not only can tell you things like the average pay for an occupation, but we can also show you current job openings for that occupation that have been listed with workforce services. So you can connect your information gathering with your job search all on one website. So that is what we have here for the month of March in terms of numbers. We can also announce here that we have the rankings of states, and in terms of total job growth and private sector job growth, Utah came out first in the nation for March. So that 3.2% total job growth, and then for private sector job growth, we're at 3.5%. That puts us #1 in the nation. For unemployment, we are 8th in the nation at 3.1%. So again, Utah's a great place to be for a job seeker or someone wanting to further their career. We will have next month's numbers for you on the 3rd Friday, and we'll be on Facebook again to walk through those with you. In the meantime, have a great day.